Hey gang, for those of you who enjoy QF, a podcast about Howard Stern, and would like to donate to us just via PayPal, you can, using the email address johnnythegreek21@gmail.com. You can check the link in the description for the spelling, and it's also here on the graphic. And if you'd like to do more in terms of donations or subscriptions, you can use our Patreon account and subscribe via the Black Kluge level, and you can receive our weekly content that we're putting only on Patreon. It's exclusive for that platform. And anything over $5 is just gravy, guys. We love you. Thank you so much.
First of all, the nerve of your fucking ass to call me and tell me your fucking problem.
If not my
Fuck off. Get lost. Get off and take your stupid subscription and cancel. Who cares, Dina?
Fuck you.
Fuck you, cunt.
Fuck you.
Do your audience a favor.
Get lost. Don't do my audience. I'll do my audience whatever I want. I'll piss on this audience if I...
Douche.
I do have issues about people leaving me. I want to control everyone in my atmosphere. I am a puppet master, and I want everyone to be a puppet.
He was saying goodbye to me, and he leaned in for a kiss, and I smiled so big that he literally kissed my teeth. I cheated on every one of my boyfriends except for Howard.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The day I met Howard, my cheating days ended.
You were a cheater?
I was a cheater.
I hate Beth. I think she's only after Howard's money, and she's a real horse face.
Can you bang any of those stripper broads on the show?
Teresa Lynn said you banged up.
Teresa who?
She was on here. She was in your movie, Private Parts.
Oh, Amy. No.
Teresa, the one with the little ass.
She never said that.
She told
That's
me.
a lie. To admit you're lying.
That's Tony. She told
Tony. Did I ever bang Teresa Lynn?
In New Jersey, welcome to the wrap-up show.
Does any of you gentlemen believe that Beth actually loves Howard?
Yeah, let's cut right to the nitty-gritty. Artie and I spent last weekend with him, and if she's in love, then she should get a fucking Oscar. If she's not in love, I should say. If she's in love, she should get an Oscar. Freudian slip.
Say.
Uh-oh, here comes Beth. Howard is Beth. Howard is Beth. I'm knitting baby booties.
What are you doing, Beth?
I'm knitting baby booties. I could just see our blonde curly-haired son. At least you don't have to pretend your dog is actually a child.
Beth once even said to me, it was funny too, because Beth once said to me, you know, I wouldn't mind being engaged forever. Like this was, years ago. She goes, I just think the ring is so great. I would love to,
It's romantic.
And it's romantic,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool. But the second I popped the question, she was like, well, let's get on the phone and tell everyone we're getting married. I went, whoa,
Yeah.
no, we're not getting married. We're engaged.
There's no such thing.
You know what it is? I'm so self-important, I just don't even remember meeting anyone.
She was up here one day and I introduced you to
Oh,
her.
yeah?
Yeah.
Listen, people,
So I'm cured. I'm not going to be cured of any. I am me. I am just going to a psychiatrist so that I can feel better about certain issues in my life. That's all.
Welcome, folks, to the latest installment of QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Fillmore, a.k.a. Jim Fix, and with me, as always, is Raven. How you doing, Raven?
Doing fucking great. How are you?
I'm good now that we're learning to channel our chikra. What is it called? Our chi? I don't know. There's all kinds of terms.
Our anger, energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Into the show, which is what we know you guys count on, and we're not going to be any less mean for the purposes of Wigo. And we're taking you now to April 27th. It's a short day. There's only about 6 clips, and we're going to, if we can, we're going to work our way into May 5th, because he's off on the 28th of April. Or no, he wasn't. We didn't get any clips for the 28th, which was a Wednesday. And so we're getting closer and closer to present day, guys. So kudos. And here we go with number 1, Mr. Magoo's cataracts.
Yeah, I was told, like, I've got, like, little baby cataracts. And, so I was like, oh, okay. But then I see Jeff. And,
Jeff's gone blind.
Yeah, right. Jeff has to have the cat. And there's no point of why he called in.
Now, this is a question for you. Do you think it's an age thing, or do you think it could be a diabetes thing for him, these cataracts he's talking about?
Great question. I'm going to say age. I don't know that it's in his family. He's never mentioned it.
Yeah.
But I think he's pretty soon going to be the Helen Keller of radio. Like, he's already having trouble finding his clips.
Yeah.
So it's
and
bound
his notes.
to happen. His notes, anything. You name it. You can't.
And that's coming up soon. This next clip is called number 2. I like to blow other guys.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, see, now he's blowing other guys. I knew this guy was blowing other guys. I knew it.
This is in relation to Colton, the Bachelor guy.
Correct.
Okay, and it wasn't Colton, if I'm not mistaken, the pastor who remarried him on the Ellen
on
show?
Ellen, yeah.
Okay, and if you ever you want to go back right into it, just so you can see he's staring at Colton the whole time, and Beth's going, "Look at me, I'm your wife. Remember me?" And I don't think that was comedic license. And Mark Shabzovich, thank you, because I think you're responsible for this clip and maybe a couple more from this day. I'm not sure. I always know from this big wet wig photo that you use as a background.
He has the best icon. Love it.
I knew it. Not that I'm against that.
Nothing wrong with it.
Sometimes I'm envious. I go through a lot of aggravation with women. Would have been much easier to blow another guy.
Like Ralph.
What's that?
Like Ralph.
Yeah, I mean, he flies so close to the sun every time that, again, the reason why I will continue to insist, guys, that he's at least bisexual is because it happens too often. It's just a basic trope that he goes to way too easily, and I didn't think the New York Dolls were gay for dressing up in drag. They all looked like a bunch of guys who were just doing it to get attention. He does it so quick. He's so quick to do this stuff that it seems almost natural, and that's the takeaway. He's
definitely keeping something inside of himself that he thinks about, and it comes out way too quick and easy. Mm-hmm. You notice there's sometimes he fumbles for words. He doesn't fumble for words when he's talking about gay shit.
I don't know how they would have reacted. Mom and Dad, I like blowing other guys.
What are you saying? What are you talking about?
I like to blow other guys. I'm coming out of the closet.
What a way to come out of the closet. Your cousin is into blowing guys. He doesn't walk around saying it like that. What did he say? He says he enjoys sexual acts with men.
This is not even, a month ago that he did this as well? Like he was doing I want to transition, I want to become a woman. And so, it's getting closer and closer to the original repetition, the original whatever. It's going to be soon. He's going to do the same bit 2 days apart. Or the same day even, like go back and reprise the impression again, because he's that bereft of fucking creative material, and it's so much on his mind.
It's so easy for him to just go into this, and he can do it for 10, 20 minutes, no problem. And if you listen, like Robin chimes in only once in a while with like a question or calls him out on something, but he really it's his go-to. It's so odd.
I don't know if the sort of pauses are because he's a dumbass, or because he's in his back of his mind he's going, I don't know if I should be doing this because this is getting close to really just coming out. Like he's joking, but he's hiding in plain sight. In my opinion.
I honestly believe his 79 IQ is making him think of what's the next level I can go to.
I see.
It's not a self-awareness at all. It's more of him just trying to figure out what's the next shocking thing I could say.
Okay, that could very well be.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Your mother gives a better blowjob than you.
Well, how does your father know?
Jesus Christ. Robin nailing him.
What does he do? With Howard, do you lick their balls as well, or you're just blowing guys?
No, I lick their balls too.
Oh, then you're gay. I thought maybe it was a passing phase.
No, I lick their balls.
There's no joke. There's just no joke. This is what I can't fucking get over. Yeah.
Remember Bob D says he denies himself any personal pleasure?
Yes.
So he gets audio pleasure out of saying stuff like this. It gets it out of his system. It gives him supply.
Right. Yeah.
It gives him a place to just put his thoughts. of things he thinks about while he's watching God knows what.
So do you think you could maybe conceive of him being alone in a room with a laptop or whatever the fuck, smart TV, whatever bullshit, and speaking to speaking the stuff aloud when Beth is on the other wing and she can't hear him?
Yeah, he might even practice it at home. He might have these conversations with himself in his head if he's that far gone. I totally would believe that.
Wow.
And then he just takes what he said to himself, the best of, and uses it on the radio.
Just to admit, this is the best. This is the greatest hits, guys. This is what you're getting.
Cock. Forget about it.
And you eat their asshole?
Yeah, I eat their asshole.
Oh,
Play with the taint, yeah.
you play with the taint. He plays with the taint. What? I don't even play with the taint. What does he do with the cum? Why did you say? What does he do with the cum? Howard, your father wants to know what you do with the cum.
I swallow, gobble it up.
Are you getting his nauseated?
Kill me now.
Mark, you did yeoman's work clipping this one because you saved Raven a little bit of psychic anger and psychic fucking trauma, but we still have 15 seconds left.
Who sexualizes their parents this way when they're in their 90s?
Yeah.
It just drives me insane. Keep going, please.
Yeah, El Disturbo.
Jesus, he's very gay. I thought maybe this was a passing phase.
That's the second time he said, I thought this was a passing phase. It makes me think more and more that that Ray did confront him on it, or she said something like, are you gay? Like, we'll be, fine if you are, and that kind of shit. And of course, he denied it at some point. It's all conjecture. I know, guys. It could be, any million there are any million permutations of how this conversation actually may have gone in his head, but like I said, it comes right out of him. It comes fast. It comes furious. It comes often, and it's too often for me to think anything that this is just a joke or this is bullshit. Creative license.
I'm gonna say my last clip for the my last comment for the end of this clip. So
okay,
go ahead.
He swallows the cum barrel. He swallows the cum. Oh, he's gay, all right. That's very gay. Very, very.
Very, very indeed. Yep.
So back in the day, you have a clip on your show, your other channel, of him being able to cure gayness, homosexuality, with whatever, was it Sarno book? I can't remember. That it can be thought away in your head.
Yeah.
Just by thinking, wishing it so. And that, he's had a lot of success with stuff like that, or something similar to that.
Yeah,
so
OCD.
Now, where does that stand in the whole face of what we've just heard for over 2 minutes just now of him sexualizing his parents and himself, his make-believe self being gay and taint and licking balls and eating ass. And it even goes further later on in clips that we have with George Takei. But he just has other people saying it for him. So they already know what he likes, so it's easy to comment on.
Right.
I'm blown away. My mind can't handle it.
Well, the other thing that, if we're going to use the idea, the bullshit idea that he's evolved, which is the word everybody on that fucking show was using for ages because of all the, stuff he was getting in trouble with, I never used the N-word and all that crap. But he's not evolved enough to stop talking about sexual stuff in the realm of like how a 13-year-old views stuff that they're getting into. The same, like, if you're wanting to evolve, why are you still doing this crap? Why are you still, if you want to be this great interviewer, why do you still do this? It's because he gets enjoyment out of it. There's no other explanation.
He hasn't gotten it out of his system. He hasn't gotten the gayness out of him. Maybe he's not acting on it, so he's not officially gay. Right. But he's got a gay man remarrying him and Beth. He's got a gay man on his show who brings up gay topics constantly. He's berating George Takei, who doesn't want to do gay stuff anymore, along with Brad, and still having fake George say everything he wishes real George would say.
Yes.
So it's coming out of all directions. It hasn't gone anywhere. Therapy is a joke for him.
Oh, yeah.
Sarno is a joke for him. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, and so as we continue, guys, number 3 is called R.I.P. Cousin It, and both you and Leslie West get the no notes treatment.
He was Cousin It. Let's see. I had some notes on. Could actually update you. I don't know where they are.
This is how little effort he puts into the show. All he has to do is have a little like 3-ring binder or whatever, or full just regular notebook next to his computer. No one touches it. Beth certainly knows better than to touch it. Leave it there. But I don't even know that he has fucking notes. Or as you said, he has to print this shit out that the staff gives him, the notes that they give him, and then he's such a 79. Fuck it. Leave it where
He's the Magoo to the end. It's so sad.
Yeah.
And fuck with this guy. I mean, I have something on him.
Yeah, let's remember Cousin It. He was essential.
Thank you, Robin.
I don't know. Well, let me see what I got.
Robin
here.
doing a great job of filling in.
Cousin It. Can I have some tape of Cousin It, guys? I'm having a hard time. Someone can help me. Oh, okay, I got it. Here it is. I just found it. I got
Jennifer Fritz. How much were you paying for 42 seconds of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing?
Hey, all you listeners who are paying for this, how do you feel right now?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Number 4. What fan base?
My fans are constantly pointing out how wrong I am. And
I was going to say, I don't know what's going on with your fan base.
What fan base? That is the exact. So there's people still posting on our YouTube channel. One guy recently posted. He said, "My mother still listens to the show. My mother still listens to the show," and I wanted to ask him, can you please? And this is not a joke. I'm not meaning to mock. Can you ask her legitimately what she finds entertaining about the show at this point in time and get back to us? Because I really want to know. Someone else suggested getting an interview with someone who's an actual fan and finding out what they know. What do they listen to? How have they kept up, 24/7? Or are they just listening to old clips and saying they're a fan but not listening to the new stuff?
We might also want to ask them what other stuff entertains them. What's their baseline for entertainment?
Right.
Because wow, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
The litmus test. I don't even. Yeah, it might be. Who knows? They might be elegant spotters. Or they might be. Anyway, who knows? Number 5. Who's that narcissist?
And they are. Oh, I have to look there.
I don't know. I don't think I would follow anyone called Queen Bey. But my point is, it's the Bay Hive. The Bay Hive.
Right.
There you go. The
Talking
Bay
about
Hive.
Beyonce.
Names who's that narcissistic? Bay Hive.
Well, these people are narcissistic, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to break that one up, obviously. Okay, I know of Beyonce. I don't care about the music. I know, some of the background. Okay, fine, but I'm an old fuck. Raven, yes.
Oh, hello, 34. How are you?
Just a little bit.
Who are these narcissists?
Yeah.
Just kill me now. It's yeah. I mean, they're talking about Beyonce and her fan following, which he is jealous of, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's still got a massive fan base. She's also black and successful. That's a trifecta of anger. But Oprah is still queen poise. She's the one queen of pure hatred that he never gets over, because she did a little thievery of Sirius, had a $50 million contract to not even show up, and sold her brand to Sirius. And he had to show up every day. He was like the janitor.
Both of these are women, and so we know how he feels about women.
Totally.
Come on. It just drives him insane.
That's right.
But my fans are horrible. They're they point out everything I do wrong.
Yeah, you're always wrong. Shut up, Howard. Don't be mean to Gary. Shut up, Howard. That's your fans.
I thought I was brilliant yesterday, questioning Fred and his motorcycle and clearing his head over him.
Clearing his head, filling his head.
It's funny. No fan would have cared one bit about him fucking on Baba Booey back in the days when we thought that, when it was all done, they went and they had, slapped each other's backs and, he was generous and all this shit and Gary was getting all kinds of money. When we find out that he skips out his father's wake, he, used to make Gary throw up because he was so fucking nauseous because of nerves before meetings, that, he's squeezing them and maybe making them take pay cuts. Then that's when people decided, no, you are an asshole. We're going to tell you.
One of the ways he was generous was all the guys that went to Scores got funny money.
Yeah.
It wasn't from Wiggy. It was from Lonnie.
It was Lonnie, yeah.
Lonnie gave it to him because he was getting free plugs. Wiggy didn't give them anything out of his pocket at those places.
God, no.
But that's the form of money they got from him, or popcorn tins, or used cameras, watches. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could tell you. So I really need to know what time it is. It's bang o'clock, I guess. Number 6, add swimming tutor to the list, and yes, we will.
Well, how to swim, and I decided years ago I was going to take some swimming lessons to perfect my skills, and it was a disaster.
Hold on. Wasn't he a camp counselor? How could you be a camp counselor and not know how to swim?
Great question. Yeah. He might have been able to do the basics, but I don't know that back then. I mean, we're talking like what, early 70s?
Mm-hmm.
They would have been testing them. But I mean, things were so lackadaisical back then. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like whatever you learned as a kid is, and by the way, parents.
Okay, that's the end of that clip. Basically, he needed to take swimming lessons, which is fine. I'm not going to shit on him for that. I still swim like a fucking cocker spaniel when you throw him in the pool. But it gets. It used to be either, and I still am. I have never learned to tread water. When I get into a pool, I'm either swimming or drowning. There's no in between. Yeah. So I'm either grabbing on something or doing laps. But if I'm I can have never learned to tread water. So I don't know. I'm an anomaly.
I had lessons early in my life, and I've taught my kids to make sure, because it's a survival thing. You don't want anything bad to ever happen.
Well, my lesson was in grade 3 when Mr. fucking, I won't say his name, but he was vegetarian. The first vegetarian I ever met went to Burger King and asked for a burger with no patty. And he threw me in the deep end when I was 8, and I almost drowned. And this was at a pool, and he just said, well, you're going to have to learn. That's how you learn. And I choked up all kinds of water, and I managed to get to the side, and that put the fear of Jesus into me. So I never learned properly after that until way, way later. So,
Christ, fuck him.
Fuck my parents too. Fuck everybody else. I needed a swimming tutor.
Let it out.
On May 3rd, J.Lo not a fan of gargoyles, and I love the J.Lo shit because he was desperate for years to get her on the show, couldn't get her, went so far as to make friends with Booker, and who was dating her sister Linda, and was desperate to get her on the show because she was such a phenom. And even now, she's still arguably bigger than him. Right. She was huge back then, and now she's still, even after getting rid of A-Rod, she's still in the gossip columns for Ben Affleck. That's right. And, she did the movie about Scores, where she was like the head stripper who organized all the scams on the stockholders. So, yeah, and she's got a career. I mean, if you just take away, let's just throw in like Made in Manhattan versus Private Parts, and he's jealous because she actually made some money in her life and is successful, and she's known internationally as well. That's the other thing. He doesn't have that adoration around the world. Number 1.
For a fact that J.Lo is disgusted by him. She would never fuck me. This is.
I was going to say this will make sure she'll never be here.
Never. It's okay. Based on all the failed relationships, maybe it's better we never met.
We're gonna go through some famous poppies. J.Lo, you say whether I love my poppy or I don't love my poppy.
I don't love you, poppy.
Okay, here we go. First poppy up is Donald Trump.
I know. Okay.
So obviously she's on Andy Cohen's show, and
Right.
once he gets a mention, whoever gets it, he clips it, gives it to him, and then he's got to decide to talk about it.
This is Like who I would like, right?
Yeah, who you...
Okay, I don't love you, puppy.
Okay. What about...
Not my type. I like Donald, but no.
What about A-Rod?
I love you, puppy.
How about Howard Stern?
Oh, no, I know not.
No, that was quick.
Yeah.
She thought more about Donald Trump than she did about the answer for you.
Yeah, she was more afraid of offending them.
Yeah, Robin's sticking in the Phillips screwdriver in that fucking noggin of his. I love it. And but I mean, it's funny. He's vile. Any fans out there that believe that he was at one point good looking or he had a good look, please send us that photo, put it on our Facebook page, and we'll all just go after it. Number 2, Chris Booker and Linda Lopez couldn't deliver J.Lo.
Chris Booker was dating J.Lo's sister, who was lovely. I had a relationship, a friendship with Linda Lopez, lovely girl.
Right.
Very nice woman. And Chris was going out with her. So I was hanging out with them because Chris was always a friend. And I got to know Linda, and I liked her very much.
Bullshit. Why is he not friends with her really anymore? Why is there no friendship? Yes, guys, I know you lose friends in life and you gain friends. I know all that shit. But is there anybody out there that thinks that was nothing but an attempt to quote get at J.Lo or get near J.Lo? Anybody? Bueller?
It was purely him trying to just connect and get up her ass somehow, get to her. There was an episode where she was on the show, but not really, because he was talking to Ben Affleck and she was in bed with him. And that's the closest she's ever been to the show. And she refused to talk that day.
Well, yeah, because number one, he had talked all kinds of shit about her for years. And some of these people, you think they don't have memories, or you think like the Jennifer Anistons, they'll forgive you and all this shit. There's some people that will not. And he's made mention of some of them.
And then one time, Chris and Linda were driving around with J.Lo, and I was single, because I had a divorce and, because I'm so great with relationships. And so I don't know, Chris called up because, hey, we're driving around with J.Lo. I go, really? I was thinking to myself, I'd like to fuck J.Lo. Maybe
he should introduce me, right?
He wouldn't even be a fucking loofah anywhere near her crack.
He paused so much during that. He couldn't even get himself together to tell a good story.
Yeah, no way. He was bleeding in his mouth.
Yes. So I go, hey, Chris, man, what are you guys doing? Like I wanted to get kind of like in and meet J.Lo. And
right.
And I don't know. He never brought her, but he said, I'm going to bring her by. I'm going to bring her by your apartment. I go, good. I don't even have to leave my apartment. Maybe I can bang her right here.
He's bringing J.Lo.
There's nothing about banging, guys. Don't be fooled. He just wanted the the hype. She's on my show. I can interview or make friends with her or whatever and get up socially upward climbing. So no way. And plus, you imagine what it would be like to be a photograph of J.Lo with him on the couch. It would be like two species.
Oh.
two different species.
This is just more Hamptons hobnobbing.
Yeah.
He was in with what was her other husband that he was friends with?
Sorry. Hold on. You're not talking Nick Cannon, who was married to Mariah Carey. Okay, so there's
I'll get it.
Mark Anthony or Anthony.
Yes.
Anthony. Yeah, him.
He was friends with Mark Anthony.
Okay.
He talked to him at some event and they got along. Let's go back and talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. He's bringing J.Lo to my house. So he's like, yeah, I'm coming over with J.Lo. And then for some reason, he never showed up with J.Lo. I think he didn't want me to meet her, but I'm pretty sure J.Lo probably said, I'm not going to that freak's house.
Yeah.
Because every time I've run into her, she looks at me like she wants to vomit.
Can you blame her?
Smart woman.
Exactly. Let me see. Number 3. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to say real quick, Howard met Mark Anthony, one of her former husbands that she had her 2 kids with. And he got along with Mark Anthony. He didn't have a problem there because obviously he's a smarmy, twinky type. Yeah. And he probably complimented him all silly. But that was just another attempt to get in with the J.Lo crowd. Nope, didn't happen. So there you go.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's if you have to beg so much, if you have to be so desperate, and they smell that desperation, they're never going to let you in. That's the whole point. Let's see, number 3, first time, long time back on.
There's Teresa who says she has a cure for Chris Wilding. Yes, Teresa.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was back on. Hi, Howard. First time, long time. I've been listening since you guys came from D.C.
Thank you.
And so Chris needs to try Desitin. It's for baby rash.
Is this the Jennifer Vitz impressionist?
It might very well be. She has that same tone in her voice. So good catch by you.
Oh yeah, and also he doesn't have that many female callers, so and often you can hear even the best mimic cannot hide their basic voice when they're doing these impressions. You can still hear the root of the sound. So anyway, number 4, Blobbin loosened up. I don't remember this clip.
Yeah, I mean, you're vaccinated, I'm vaccinated, so have you loosened up a little bit? Like with how you're...
A little bit. I told you I've gone to a couple of restaurants. The one thing I did that I didn't want to tell you was that I went to a museum.
All right.
And there were a lot of people there.
She looked in the Cro-Magnon glass and she thought she saw one of his ancestors. Okay, so, all right. And then the next one, number 5, Wiggy the hypochondriac visits friends.
Right.
Yeah, I went.
So, yeah.
I went and saw my parents. I did that. Because they're both vaccinated. So that felt okay, but I do this weird, and I went to a friend's house.
Are you hugging?
No.
What's with this nebulous? I went to a friend's house. Why not just say who it is? Just say their first name even.
He doesn't even hug Beth, by the way. He's not hugging his parents. He's not hugging shit.
No.
Distant. We mostly were outside. My friend was showing me his house. He moved into a new house, and he said, come on over. And my wife's vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. We went over, but we stayed outside pretty much, except for the tour. But it's weird. Like, even when I do that, I feel like I have a headache all of a sudden. I'm such a hypochondriac that I was like, oh, man, it feels weird to be doing this.
No, you're not a hypochondriac. You're just a cocksucker. I hate this shit. I really fucking do. If I had his money, my God, what I'd be doing. I'd be buying like helicopters for friends. Just say, here, come on over. I'll pay for the gas. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
He has no social skills. He doesn't know how to interact. He doesn't know how to compliment people's houses. He doesn't know about architecture or design or give two shits. Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's just a chore to him to do all these things and go through someone's house.
Right. You give Wiggy a tour of your house, you're actually giving him homework. Just sit him into some fucking lazy boy, throw some almonds at him, a little bit of gay porn, and he's going to be happier than a pig in shit. And he can have, it's not bang o'clock, it's twink o'clock, it's whatever the fuck else clock you can think of, but it's, Wiggy standard time. Number 6, COVID Smovid or Schmovid.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw Beth's parents, but they sat outside.
Yeah.
We saw them.
I did stay with a couple
who had a taser and a cattle prod in case they got too close.
Also vaccinated. We stayed at their home.
Oh, really? Yeah. How many days?
2 days.
Did that feel weird?
I had to get over a lot. I had to tell myself it was going to be okay and that I shouldn't be worried because we didn't mask inside their home.
Right, because you figured they're...
God, these two fucking fear mongers and shit. Like, guys, Anyway, it ties into what we've been talking about recently in the breakdowns, guy. And there'll be another one due... Let's see when this... I'm not sure when this comes out. Why am I even promoting it? This is going to be well after that. But either way, you guys, if you've listened to the ones that we've already played, including the one with Bob, who sat in, they're just... 2 disclaimers that needed for these 2 assholes going in and making people feel even worse. Like what we're doing, unfortunately, we're covering it for our breakdowns, but we try to do it in as little time as possible, so you're not fucking this. So we're not a goddamn bring down.
I gotta say this. I don't think we've had one show since last March, which is a year and 3 months, without a COVID mention or some kind of preaching about the vaccine, staying masked, staying home, not going anywhere, not doing anything, all fear mongering. A year, that's 15 months. Okay. It's a year and 3 months. It's 15 months. And he's still going every goddamn fucking single day with this bullshit. Like, we are so sick of it. We don't tune into this for that. And all he does is use politics, made up stories, or beef, or Robin, or
imaginary
whoever.
Friends,
callers, emails. All fake. Just to what? Hear himself talk?
And as we get closer to modern day, like the present day, you're going to basically think to yourself, the overriding thought I have is the Andy Cohen tweaking him, which we're going to get into in when, I don't mean to jump the gun, but him being at the studio, being live, not being recording on the premises in Sirius Studios is a big, like, fuck you to him. And he's taking it the worst way possible because he's like, it's safe, but I'm not going back. I don't want to go back. And you speculate that he's got a huge argument with Jennifer Ritz or whoever's in charge of him, that they want him to come back because they're wasting all this fucking studio space and time and rental costs for him to record at home and do a shittier job at home. They don't want that.
Yeah, everybody wants people back at work, but people have become so settled into working from home on Zoom that it's hard to get workers back, not just at Sirius, but in other jobs.
Yeah, across the board.
It also allows employers to squeeze employees to get less money because they're not showing up. So there is cutbacks allowed if you are going to stay home.
Right. And it makes
not
sense.
Not for Wiggy, though.
It makes sense that if Shuley, let's say, who left because they were squeezing him, they said, like, well, we're not going to fire you. We're going to make it so untenable that you're going to have to leave of your own volition. So there's no, it's not a conflict. But by saying we'll pay you on a prorated basis, how many of your bits get through, you're basically saying you're a salesman. It's Glengarry Glen Ross. You're going to get you're looking for your set of steak knives, and it's. There's speculation now that Sal's off the show, but I think he appeared in a more recent one, didn't he?
Today.
Yeah.
June 15th, we're recording this. So, yeah, he was on today, and it was all about High Pitch Eric. So, we'll get into that in the future. But, yeah, Sal's still on the show for those that were wondering, because that has been a bit of contention for people who haven't heard him in a while. They thought the same about Richard. Then Richard showed up. So,
that's right.
It's just they don't get on very much. And when they do, they do. If it's not hypnosis with Sal, it's, being stupid and not mentioning something he was supposed to bring up about High Pitch Eric.
Would you believe that if what's your take on if Shuley was offered like a lesser salary based on, whatever the situation, do you think that the same applies to Richard and Sal as well?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
I think the whole staff is being offered less. And they're all taking it, but they're moving away. Even Bowie's got his house up for sale.
Yes, I noticed that. 3 million, 3 point something. I can't remember exactly. It was the lower end.
3.159.
Yeah, and some people were saying, "Oh, well, that's nothing." Some people were saying, "Wow, that's a lot." I didn't realize he was such a well-heeled monkey. And I don't like. It seemed stupid to get it during the Sirius years anyway, because his kids were they're going to grow and in 10 years be out of the house anyway. So. I don't know. It seems like a waste of space for so few people, such a small family. But he needed to brag a little, I think. That was just him going like, look, I'm moving on up.
Yeah. But he hasn't said where he's moving yet. Like there was talk of him going to like Maine in the summer, Florida in the winter. But then he said that's all off the table. But he didn't say what's on the table. So we have no clue.
Be curious to find out what happens. Because the other thing is people are saying, I think it was Carol Chaney who said, she heard him in a wrap-up show, and he sounded like he said like some existential angst. I don't remember which episode, and she didn't get back to me on that, but she said he sounded in his voice like he was in, he was all nerves. And if you're trying to sell a house and you've got all your stuff packed up, waiting to sell it, or maybe you're just anxious because you can't afford the house anymore, yeah, you'd be nervous. Yeah,
I'm not sure what it is, but we'll find out eventually. We'll get into it.
Yep, for sure.
Be carriers of COVID, then you could get it, but then you would only have mild symptoms, I think, for the most part, but they don't know 100% that. It's so confusing.
Right. Yeah, you're still.
Fuck off. Number 7, rescinding a fever. And I believe we didn't use this one, I don't think. May 3rd, did we? Okay.
You used this with
Benjamin.
Okay. For the one you and Sam did with him about, I've got a fever, I'm dying, and now it's I barely had anything. It was nothing.
Okay, so my bad. I thought that we had only used it up to April, but
that I've learned from being in quarantine and wearing masks and all that stuff. I haven't even had a cold during it.
Right.
Knock on fucking wood, but
bullshit.
I mean, I haven't.
You did have something though a couple of weeks ago.
I did. I had like a little bit of I thought I was having a little bit of fever and stuff, but it didn't even count as a fever. It was like
fuck off,
a little bit elevated, but I really never got a cold or anything.
Yeah, I haven't had anything.
Oh, fuck off, the two of you. He made it like he had the fucking Black Plague, and he was coughing up his pancreas.
That asshole wasn't sure if he could finish the show.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't sure if he should even be there. And now it's like, it was nothing. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's a disgrace. I mean, there's most people would not have to bullshit about their symptoms or whatever. They'd be straight up and say, look, I feel like this, whatever. The need to this need to fucking be under like subterfuge and this gaslighting. Fuck right off. Number 8 is called Slob and Hides from Wig.
House.
I stayed at someone's house. I went to the museum, and I've been to a couple of restaurants.
See, you kept that a secret from me. She knows better.
I was like, I'm not telling Howard.
Yeah, I know. Because, I mean, we've spoken on the phone. You didn't say a word.
I didn't say a word.
Because I would have talked you out of it.
No, she just didn't want to lecture, and she didn't want to hear, like, your bullshit. So that's the main reason why she kept it from you.
But I'm only seeing vaccinated people.
Here you go. 74 vaccinated.
She got blasted because she tried to have a going away party for Ronnie.
Yes.
Happened this week, Monday, maybe.
I can't recall.
Maybe last week. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She was trying to organize a going away party because Ronnie's moving to Vegas
That's
the
right.
end of this month or the beginning of July.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because he put his foot down. He told her no frickin' way. And then she was like, she kind of hinted about something on Zoom, or he guessed that maybe she was going to try and have something on Zoom. And he's like, I don't want to be a part of that at all. And he's just being a fucking prick. Like he always is.
Who said you were invited, asshole? There's the conundrum. He doesn't want to do this shit, but if you invite him, if you don't invite him or you didn't tell him about it, he'd be all like, why wasn't I invited? This is your fucking...
But he has no problem using Ronnie for an hour and a half of material about why Vegas is so bad and telling him to get like a condo here and a condo out there and then go back and forth and how the pool's hot. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And
he doesn't pay his, I'm sorry, I just got to say this. He doesn't pay his staff enough to have 2 homes. He's got 3 fucking homes. Okay. And I posted them today. His $52 million mansion, his $20 million mansion, and then whatever, like a $22 million one penthouse in New York. So he's so unrelatable. He berates them until they have nothing left to say except this is all I can do.
Yeah. Well,
without saying that he doesn't pay them enough.
Yeah, and you will have heard that, guys, when we released the Billy West stuff, of course, and I'm in charge until it comes to salary discussion, and then it's Sirius's problem, or it's Tom Cisano you have to talk to. Don't talk to me about that. I'm not in control. Whatever bullshit he wants to spin, you can't have it both ways. And I feel bad personally for Ronnie. I have since this thing started because I don't know. I have a soft spot for Ronnie. I don't think he's any kind of person you want to be married to, but he seems to me like a guy's guy, and he just always seemed like a very, just I don't know, very, very transparent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was a dick for a lot of years.
He was.
He had a big ego on him, and he was going to scores. Before he met Stephanie, that was probably his worst time period because he had just gotten divorced.
Yeah.
And then he was off, like, in this whole other world, and he was running shit, and Wiggy couldn't control him back then, but now he's got him on, like, fucking lockdown. And he's, what, 70 almost?
70, 71, something like that, yeah. And anyway, I feel like, you know what, let him escape the fucking compound. Let him escape from Wig York. And I think that when he does get to wherever, in Las Vegas, that's the destination as far as I understand it. When he does get there, he's going to have such a fucking weight off his shoulders that even if he's on Zoom, and that will probably get phased out because, you know, it doesn't, if they need people in studio, if they do go back to the studio and he can't be there, but except for, you know, Zoom or telephone, he's just going to get phased out because that doesn't work. It doesn't work nearly as well as when someone's in studio. Yep.
Well, also, I'm pretty sure Vegas is 3 hours behind, like California.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's starting at 7, that's going to be 4 o'clock Ronnie time.
Yep.
In Vegas. And, you know, there is the thought that this is pre-recorded, so that might not apply what I'm saying, but if he's going to be on the show, he'd have to be up at 4 a.m. And I kind of think Ronnie's still going to be part of the show and available for comments, but they might just have him on certain days. So
Maybe.
It might only be one day a week that they need him, or one every other week. One day. I don't know.
That's funny. We were talking about, you know, how Billy West was just such a fucking loss, but now it's like anybody on that show is a loss that does have any kind of like a, you know, presence. Like when Ronnie leaving is the same as Billy. Ronnie leaving in 2021 is the same as Billy, and that's how sad the show is. Just incredible. Number 9, Wig is an honest man.
This is hopeless. This is, I just saw that, like, I was barely breaking 1,000, and I went, let's say I go up 200 points. I'm still not getting it anywhere good, so fuck it. And I remember going to it, and I never cracked a book. I'm embarrassed to say that my entire education, I don't believe I ever studied for an exam. And my grades reflected it.
Oh, hold on. This is the SAT score thing. He said he never broke 1,000?
It's either the SAT thing or how he cheated on tests in school.
Sure, which makes perfect sense. But didn't you say, I don't know, because we don't do SATs in Canada, as far as I know. But what did you say the equivalent was when you add these scores up, and what the equivalent would be if it was like a letter grade for him? The score that he gave? You gave me a calculation once.
I believe he got a 950 out of 1,600.
Okay.
So that's barely a 50%. It's like 65%.
So you think even basic studies was going, I don't know about this guy.
If you got the cash, we'll give you a shot.
Right. Okay, so...
It was, you know, I don't even know how I graduated. I don't even know. I just kind of coasted by. Once in a while, a guy would let me copy off his, you know, exam, you know, that kind of thing. I relied on the good graces of others.
The kindness of...
And that has never changed. He also depends on interviewers not to fucking press him. He depends on guests not to throw shit in his face when he's going after them. Please.
Hence his whole radio career. Stealing from Steve Dahl. Even like the zookeeper, John DeBella. Yep. You know, there were things there. There was stealing from J.Lo. Stealing from whoever and anyone possible. It's just, that's his MO.
Yeah.
That's his motive. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Get ready.
The Vietnam vet bit from the Grease Man, which was on a record, for fuck's sake. He either bought the rights for or stole Fart Man from National Lampoon. There's a record out there. I think it's called The White Album. And it's a 45-second premise on the thing. He decided he was going to make it into a movie. There are SNL sketches with less substance that were made into movies and made money, but Fart Man wouldn't. At any rate, I find that funny about his schooling because again, for years, I thought he was playing dumb. That's why I tuned in. I thought he was just like Dice playing a Brooklyn dumbo, that kind of thing. No, he really is stupid.
Well, doesn't it make sense now that he would get punched in the nose because he was found copying off of somebody?
Yep.
And maybe they weren't happy with him and they wanted to teach him a lesson and be like, fuck you, motherfucker. You ain't cheating off of our shit. Do your own work. And, there he's getting beaten up. Maybe he got beat up for a reason.
Yeah, and the only thing is it's a little at odds with what Colford writes in the book, saying that, initially at Boston University he wasn't doing well, but then he kind of, put his his considerable nose to the grindstone, and you've never seen that grindstone again since. And then, and he upped his grades, but the way he explained it in subsequent shows, over the years, was that he took a couple of bird courses to up his average, which I think almost everybody does. I took drama one time, and I go, thank God I'm not in drama. It was probably the easiest fucking thing I ever did, and it just made me think less of the whole, the faculty in general. Not about acting. I think you either have it or you don't, guys. I'm not insulting people in their vocation, but I think you're a born actor, and you can only learn so much. It's like anything else. People are meant to paint, meant to make music, meant to be, good writers and stuff. And there's only certain things you can learn to improve, but generally you got it or you don't. We are done with there's not much left of that one, I don't believe, but let's play the last few seconds.
Strangers.
I relied on the kindness of strangers.
He's Wig Dubois. Jesus Christ. A streetcar named Desire. Number 4. Yeah, go ahead.
There was no kindness. It was just purely him stealing. They weren't offering it up to him. He just took whatever he wanted his whole life.
That makes more sense, certainly. I meant to say May 4th, guys. Number 1, magnesium versus potassium versus faggotism.
I feel like I've been up so long this morning that it's time to go back to bed. So, good night.
Hey now.
There's your host. With that fucking Rob Zombie music. Imagine going to a heavy metal concert, like, Charred Walls of the Damned, and the singer goes, that's it, guys, thanks.
We're fucking not ready for the shit. We're done. We didn't sleep good. Sorry. Bye. Fuck you, motherfucker. They come on stage in pajamas and a teddy bear.
No. I'm having such hair problems. I woke up this morning. I have to every day for the show because we do video the show, and you should know that an app. It's free to all subscribers.
What happened to Whale Rock? What happened to Howard 360? It was $360. How much it would have cost? $3, 60 cents, and he wouldn't pay it.
It's just BS in the ethers now.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see the video component of the show. So you have to spruce up a bit, as you know, Robin. You have to, do your makeup, etc. But haven't had a haircut in a while. And my routine is I shower the night before. And then my hair, and I put a lot of gel in. And then
we know. It's like you held him by the legs the way when a kid baby is born and you hold him upside down. Right. You did the same with him, but you just stuck him in an inkwell.
Am I the only one having deja vu right now? Like the beginning of the show,
yes,
him complaining, him talking about his hair, needing a haircut,
and how difficult it is.
Yeah, it's just the same old shit.
Right. The guy who was stuck between, he had his arm, he had to saw off his own arm in, what was that, 136 days or whatever the fuck? That guy had a rough morning.
126 days.
Right. That guy had a rough morning. Wig, you, not so much.
By morning, my hair expands from the gel, and it's ready to go for air. But today, there was no shape to it. It was all, I must have had a rough night. I did have a rough night, actually.
Can you imagine Phil Spector when he has a wake and shake look?
It gets better.
Twice with you ever get those muscle cramps in your legs?
I have had, yes.
Yeah, all of a sudden I've had that 2 nights in a row. I hadn't had it in a long time.
It usually means there's something missing.
Yeah, muscle.
Protein, minerals. Vitamins.
I think oh my God. Because guys, you've seen now, I posted, if you're not in the Facebook group, get in there. I posted a bunch of jogging photos, and it's the one, yes, in the middle of mid-jog, mid-stride, and the one, it looks like a dried out fucking turkey leg, and with no definition. And it really looks like there's a 90-year-old guy famous in the States for being like a Jack LaLanne type person. I can't remember his name. And he looked like a bag of bones, but he was still very active. That's what his leg looked like. And this was a 10-year-old photo, maybe older.
His leg looks like a corpse leg.
Yeah.
That's been dried out and embalmed for putting underground.
Yes.
It's so horrendous. Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's awful. I mean, and I'm not, so when you guys think, oh, I'm mocking fat people or mocking, like, no, that's self-loathing when I do that. But when, because I'm not exactly, I'm 350 sit-ups away from the body of a young Mark Hamill, as our baby gorilla would say. But he went the opposite way so drastically, and it's awful. Any fucking trainer worth his salt, Marco Battaglia, fire him, fire a psychiatrist, fire everybody who told him, you look good, you're looking good. He needs meat. He needs meat, lots of it, and he needs all kinds of carbs and shit, and to work out properly, not to be fucking staring into space on the Peloton.
Like a mineral
salt.
of some sort.
Right.
Well, not salt. It's like when I get it, I have to take magnesium.
Wrong.
Magnesium. But I'm on a new diet, and I feel great from it. But maybe I need some kind of minerals, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay. So the robiniswrong.com site would love this if it still existed.
Yeah.
She meant potassium. You need potassium. If you're having leg cramps, you're not getting enough bananas or other vegetables, fruits that are going to supply you with potassium, not magnesium. What a fucking asshole.
Number 2, pulling out old lady wig hair. Love these titles.
There's always something going on with me, but anyway, a lot of people think because I'm really handsome, I don't have to work on my look. But when I wake up in the morning, hair, and this morning it was just crazy.
Do you just use your fingers, or do you have a utensil or some sort of tool?
Tongs. It's a salad niçoise.
I have a toothbrush. I scratch my ass with. Get my worms going. No, I use my hands and I pull it out. And every time I pulled it out, it looked worse. And then I sprayed it down. I have this stuff that Beth hates the smell of.
We talked about this before, I think.
Right. Yeah.
He had the blue rinse.
Some kind of hippie spray. It's supposed to smell like the beach, but it's
patchouli.
It's like patchouli. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking old lady smell.
Sandalwood, Chinese sandalwood.
Sea salt. And something else like a conditioner, and you can spray it in.
It smells like the ocean or something.
Well, it doesn't. It smells like old lady hair, according to Beth. Like when Grandma gives you a hug, and it's like.
Knowing Beth, it's sea salt and caramel, so when she's stuck in the middle of the night, she can just break off a tendril and eat it like it's taffy. I know, it's what a revolting thing. Number 3, Wig's hair needs a village of donors.
This hair of mine takes a village. But I'm totally alone, and I probably need a good shaping.
In parts, it looks good. Like there's some of it that came together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blessed with a great head of hair. I mean, I am. It's. I don't know, but it is curly, and
I don't have to color it. Okay. I'm going to ask you to do your little. It's not much of a psychology thing because we've already gone through this, I suppose. But why even go forward with that lie? I don't have to color it.
I guess he's got to pump himself up, his ego, and keep. If you say things enough, people will believe it, and there are, like we said, fans that will stand by him and his lies and his hypocrisies. Right. So he's just hoping for that, maybe. But it's got to be all about him, Ed. Yeah. It's always him. So this is all he has to talk about. Like, I'm lost for words at some points on these.
Oh yeah.
It's gotta, as my mother says, it needs shaping. But,
your mom always there for you.
Yeah. My mom hadn't seen me in a year, and then she looks at me and she frowns and goes, "Curly hair needs shaping."
Do you remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber when Lloyd has to get his nails trimmed and they break out the fucking bandsaw, and all of a sudden you see sparks flying? I imagine that's the look, like, and the hairdresser. That's what Tony Coburn has to use with his fucking wig when she's still doing it. Number 4, down here in Florida.
Like a card that identifies who got the vaccine. I want that. I'm all for it. I'm all for the government invading these assholes' privacy, because that's all they're worried about. But down here in Florida, there's some fucking weird story that there's a private school where if you've been vaccinated, you can't teach there.
Yep. So bingo, that was our proof that he had finally moved to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And he was there about 6 weeks. Then he came back Memorial Day weekend, somewhere in that 2-week vacation he took for what I like to call hot girl summer. Where he's in the Hamptons.
That's a title for a good retro wave song. Go ahead.
He's in the Hamptons. He's ready to party with Bon Jovi,
Sure.
Jimmy Fallon, Alec Baldwin, Jerry Seinfeld, you name it. Any of the fuckers that are still willing to put up with his old ass are there.
Yeah.
And Beth couldn't be happier. I mean, she had all her posts down in Florida with her fucking Helen Rose bag with bullshit, like her feet buried in the sand and, to hide the size 14s that she wears. It's just their way of living the life. Like, Florida's hot in the summer. It's humid. There's bugs. So, they're not going to be back in Florida until Labor Day. They're going to spend the rest of the summer in Hamptons. I guarantee you guys, if you check the videos on the Howard Stern Show YouTube page, you will see there are no guitars unless he decides to add them, because funny enough, he started playing one this week, but he played the same chord, the same string over and over and over, and he had trouble making up lyrics. It wasn't there was zero talent. Like, I've never touched a guitar in my whole life, and I could probably do better. I've played violin, I've played the flute, whatever my kids played just to check it out, but this guy, nothing. So Down Here in Florida is the name of the clip, because he finally admitted it, but he had already been there a month, and we knew it too.
Well, what I don't understand is he has the money to make a room look, the home studio look exactly the same in both places. Why go through the lame attempt at trying to conceal that you're in a different place than where you say you are, and then make the attempt visually to obscure it, but not do 100% exact same job? Like, you want to be found out at that point.
You're creating the argument.
Where's Waldo?
Right. It's also that, he doesn't want to be found. He doesn't want people after him. He doesn't want to be traced. He doesn't want Sirius hounding him or people hounding Sirius. Like, why isn't Howard in studio? Andy Cohen's back in studio. Why is he down in Florida? Does he need a license down there? What's going on? How can he broadcast from his house from a multi-million-dollar company? I don't get it. There's so many arguments of why. And then we went over the whole taxes thing too, of living in Florida is cheaper, but you got to be there 6 months. Well, if you're only in Hamptons for 3 months, obviously you got 9 months to live in Florida, which he probably will do. But it's yet to be proven, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And the other thing is, guys, I should point it out, lots of people have been coming forward saying, and not just with us in our Facebook group, have been going on Reddit and saying, look at this ad, the latest batch of Sirius ads that come up on my tablet, on my computer. He's nowhere to be found. I'm going to argue for him that if it's not premium, they can't advertise him. Like, if they're saying this is the offer, and it's the offer for a certain amount of channels, but not his, which is the top tier, right? That's my only sort of, I don't want to have to defend him, but I'm thinking that's exactly what that means. It's free, but not with him. He doesn't come with that, or here's a special offer, but it doesn't include that tier, so we can't do false advertising. And that's my only takeaway. Yep.
Well, along the same serious lines, like they had a 3-week free trial period where anybody who has it already set up in their car or anywhere else could join for free and not pay anything. And Howard's part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 weeks of that were replays. 1 week was live, and it was bullshit. It was just lame.
Yeah.
It was last week. And then it went off of the free trial. So I think that's kind of like to sucker people in. But yeah, he's not making it to commercials because who's going to want to subscribe looking at that gargoyle? I mean, seriously. I've called him Rhea Perlman. I've called him a grasshopper. I've called him a million things. It's Wiggenstern. He's just not people friendly.
No,
so socially or visually, nothing about it. And if you tune into that shit, you're going to hear like COVID fear mongering, ass play with ass napkin Ed, just lame political stuff that no one wants to hear, or him talking about his hair. Yeah, like come on.
Yeah.
No, doesn't move the dial for serious.
Okay, well, let me ask you. Let's play with time a little bit here. Let's play with. You have carte blanche. You're Jennifer Vitz, okay, and you have power over him. If you wanted to save his show, and I don't mean by going in there with a fucking flamethrower and just torching it for everybody, how could he rather turn things around if at all possible? I don't think he could. I think it's too far gone now.
Not possible.
Yeah.
Because look at the narcissist, the MPD you have, who is going to do things his way, and he's going to tantrum if he doesn't get his way.
Okay.
So everything, it's his way or the highway. And he's already got, the staff that is living in fear, willing to do whatever they can just to get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how she could improve the show unless she brought in some like really high-level A-list guests.
Yeah.
That would draw people in. But how are you going to convince a high-level A-list people to come in? It's just like musical groups. Like they have to find a place to perform because they don't have no one's in the studio.
Yeah.
Like you were lucky the Foo Fighters could go to the Sirius LA studios or wherever they were. I don't know where they were. But I'm just saying, like, for example, you used to have Metallica in a lot. Now he's got to find and send microphones, and it's a whole to-do of getting those people in. And a lot of times, the big draw is musicians, honestly, because people love music.
Yes,
they want
do.
current music, but he's not up on current music.
No.
There's so many things, like I've mentioned Run the Jewels. I've mentioned, rest in peace, Juice WRLD. You would have been great, to get. There's another one, Melanie Martinez, who is kind of a teeny bopper thing, but has really great music just for anybody, probably women more than anything. But again, it's kind of like there's these new artists coming out and he's not going to get them because they're not relatable.
No.
He's irrelevant. He doesn't have the draw.
No,
and
he
there's
doesn't.
so many things. There's so many suggestions I have, but if I was Jennifer Vitz, I'd go the way of music. I'd get him back in that fucking studio ASAP. And I'd say, look, I don't care if you have to wear a double mask or we're going to put up screens or curtains or something to prevent you from getting in touch with anybody. We'll give you the star treatment.
Yeah.
We'll bring you up the freight elevator. You won't have to deal with anybody, just a certain group of drivers, tissue, shushers, tissue people.
Tissue wranglers.
Fountain pen fillers, journal people, whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just Jennifer Vitz. If you want to call me, get a hold of me. Contact Fillmore.
I just thought of the Photoshop for this one. He's the Wizard of Schnoz. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Clip number 5, guys. Where are my notes?
A video went viral. Oh, here, hold on. I'll read this to you. What do I do with it?
Pause.
Dead air.
Can I find this?
Pause.
You got to talk about this too, about Matthew McConaughey running for governor.
Oh, he's running for governor too? Well, now I don't know.
Yeah.
My
I'll
vote
tell you
is
all about
split.
it.
I'll tell you all about it when I get my fucking notes together. You know what? This is worse than when Robin was still reading the news. Worse.
Oh, Magoo, you've done it again.
Yeah. They said that like you. This is a joke, but it's not a joke. He's actually that fucking disorganized, and it's that dead air. Fuck. If I was Jennifer Vitz, I don't. Do you figure he was just grandfathered in that whole right to refusal contract thing, and then he just took a lowball offer, and she's stuck with him?
I truly believe that he negotiated into his contract that if he wants to work from home and feels safer that way, as the diva he is, he will do it.
Mm-hmm. But we haven't. When's the last time we heard fake Jennifer Vitz call? And not too long ago, but that's still on the table. That still happens.
It's well, he took 2 weeks off. He had last week. We didn't hear it, and then we're 2 days into this week. We haven't heard it. So it's been
It's due.
a month. We're due. Yeah.
Yeah. If this Andy Cohen thing that's more recent, and again, I sorry to jump ahead, guys, we may start hearing some more of it just to take his anger out on not Andy, but someone who's in charge of making sure staff get in the fucking studio.
It's still another stab at Sirius.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it. So if it's not Jennifer, it's Andy, and it's just him creating his fear-mongering about it's not safe to come back to studio. And this is the thing they mentioned, it wasn't on the show. It was on a podcast I watched where they mentioned having 40 people on staff, but they cut it in half. We think it's 70, maybe 80. And he talked about it being people on top of each other. I think it was during the Andy. Actually, he did. He mentioned 40 people on staff, and it's way more than that. So let's keep diving ahead.
Okay. And let's get him. Wait till he gets his non-thought together.
Do I vote for Caitlin or Matthew?
Well, Matthew's running in Texas.
Oh, he's running for governor in Texas.
Where the fuck is that story? School.
Oh, dear.
Drink.
Does anybody know where you put the story?
Oh, here it is. Private school. Oh, here, I got it. Private school in Florida is barring teachers who've gotten a COVID-19 vaccination.
It took him, that was 47 seconds, guys, that clip.
Yep.
So it took him, but it was 40 seconds before he finally found the notes. Can you imagine that? Let's say it was just a news broadcast, man. Let's just say it was, I don't know, NBC 6 o'clock news or whatever the fuck. And you were just on air going, hold on a second. Let's see.
Somewhere.
I think I'll be with you, right with you, San Diego. Yeah, and that. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
So, like he's the unreliable narrator. He's the unreliable note taker.
He's like he's a fucking corpse, barely operating.
Yeah. Oh, the irony. Number 6, and we're almost done. This is the last clip for the 4th.
It's crazy. Well, this must be one of those new schools I've read about where you graduate stupider than when you went in. Like, you go in smart and they make you stupid.
Right. Well, there have been experts who have said parenting and teaching is the de-geniusing of children.
Hey, Wolfie,
they're fine until they get a hold. We get a hold of them.
Listen to these.
Hey, Wolfie, is that really your mom on the phone?
Listen to these two fucking dim bulbs talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Have you homeschooled a kid yet?
Oh.
I homeschooled 2 for 15 months. Okay.
Brutal.
No fucking clue what you're talking about, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 senior citizens have never raised a child, have never taught anything to anybody.
One of whom had 3 kids. One of whom had 3 children and didn't have to do anything. Fuck's sake.
I just can't. I'm beyond words on this one. It's
Well, the worst part is, like, first of all, for a lot of a lot of us, I hate to say it, but math was never my strong suit. If I had to homeschool my kid about math, I'd have to actually do the work with them to get my remedial skills up because they're shit to begin with. I was that fucking asshole hoping I could get a 50 and being happy with a 51 or 60, thinking I just fucking scored. And meanwhile, there'd be Asian students, my Asian friends be crying because they only got an 85. You know they're getting a whipping when they got home. Go ahead.
Do you know how many like Spanish classes I've done, chemistry, Google Slides, poems, 6th grade math? Like, it's unreal what I've had to relearn. And I've had to YouTube stuff just to get like conversion factors or rules for equations. And
yes.
I almost graduated with a math degree. I chose a different subject, but I'm well versed in math. And even still, like 25, 30 years later from grade school and high school, I had to look this stuff up. And trying to teach your own kid does not work. They don't want to hear it. They want to hear it from a teacher.
Yeah.
But they don't even have the ability to stay awake or focus on class. So all they have is me. And I'm like, dude, you just got to do this. If you just pay attention, I'm like, here's a shortcut. I learned this, but they don't want to hear it. So it's ridiculous. Yeah. And as far as Wiggy and Robin trying to explain people getting dumber during COVID, like, yeah, they are. Because most parents don't care to teach. And even those that do, the kids don't want to hear it. So it's like a lose-lose for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know what this generation is going to produce other than podcasters.
Yeah. Potheads.
Gamers.
Yeah.
Potheads. Yeah. True. I know a lot of kids that are
TikTokers.
In high school. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah. They're all into that, but like none of them are going to have real life skills. And it's
worrisome.
Sad.
Yeah, it's worrisome actually because I've seen how they interact with each other and it's disturbing a little bit. I have one niece that's a couple nieces that are fairly well grounded, but they're the older ones, the older like nieces and nephews. I fucking shudder to think what they're going to be like. You know, the singles bar is now Tinder. It's like swipe. You don't even get the chance to be turned down. You're like, no, fuck no.
It's so superficial. Yeah.
Number 6. Bad. Oh, the irony.
It's crazy.
Oh,
this must be one of those new schools I've read.
Oh, sorry, I just played that one. Let me edit that one out. Sorry, I didn't realize that. I had highlighted something else. 137. Edit out, replay. By the way, yeah, it's not even that you are doing necessarily a bad job of tutoring, homeschooling your kids. It's too much of mom or dad. They already get you at home. They don't want more of you for school. And I had friends that unfortunately, like they had parents who were teachers and they had to be in the same school. And it was brutal for them because they had to be on their best behavior. They knew enough, like the teachers were going to tell their mother or father, like they wouldn't even wait till they wouldn't have the time to get home and to tell them their story because the kid was right there. And they suffered. Their grades suffered. I knew 1 or 2 kids that actually had to change schools deliberately so that they wouldn't be taught by their parents, and they couldn't be.
Wow.
And just because they just said they knew, and even the parent was okay with it because they said, no, I get it. You got to be away. It's too much mom. It's too much dad. So let's see. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, guys, we are into May 5th. Believe it or not, we have entered. We've entered the forbidden zone. Number 1 is called "Taking Credit for Georgie's Jeopardy Tryout." Plus, rest in peace, Alex. How much do you make? Now, this is about Stephanopoulos. I was thinking Takei initially, and then I remembered Stephanopoulos had a tryout or was going to try out for Jeopardy. Did you ever watch any episodes with him in it?
I'm a regular watcher of Jeopardy, and George has not been on yet.
Okay.
This week is Katie Couric. We just finished with Mayim Bialik from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Blossom.
She was also Blossom.
Yep.
Yeah. So, we had Anderson Cooper. He didn't really comment on him too much. I think he's pulling for George because he put George's name in the hat or in the ring. early on.
Mhm.
And this is him wanting credit for nominating George Stephanopoulos to be on Jeopardy as the full-time host. But they're going to go all the way through August with special guests for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So,
and then they're gonna who would you put in, just out of curiosity? That Mayim Bialik would be great, actually. I think she'd be a lot of fun.
I liked her. I did like her, but the one I voted for, which I think you and I both agree on, is LeVar Burton.
He'd be great.
Reading Rainbow. He hasn't done it yet.
Mhm.
He should be coming up in the near future, either in July or August. Yeah, we'll see. But
He'd be wonderful. He's got such a great voice too, and his presence, and very fair, like easygoing kind of thing. Did you ever hear that story Bruce Valanche told about LeVar Burton when he was filming Roots?
No.
It was 1976 or so, I can't remember, but Paul Lynde was filming the Halloween special, like the Halloween special, and they were smoking outside, and Paul had a witch's outfit on, and he didn't know names, but he saw LeVar Burton walking by as they were smoking, and then he just out of nowhere goes, "Roots!" He sees her and he goes, "Roots!" in that Paul Lynde voice. And LeVar Burton just fucking busted out laughing. Because of this site. Anyway, I don't think any show will go by without a Paul Lynde reference, guys. Sorry. Let's listen to that first clip.
Stephanopoulos, one of the people they're going to audition.
Yes, he is doing it.
So, it's funny. I never heard from George. Like, I'm the guy who pushed this whole idea from the beginning that George Stephanopoulos, he better not disappoint me. He better do a good fucking job.
Do you think he owes you a call?
I think it would have been nice. I think he should have picked up the phone and said, Howard, thank you. Because you know what? How much money do you think Alex Trebek was making?
Oh, he
George.
made a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying whoever gets that gig.
What a fucking bullshit. And as much money as Alex Trebek was making, it was not the money he was making that first contract to Sirius. So what a stupid fucking thing to say. Number 2, look at my fuckable ass. Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Just play it.
Look at my ass, my penis area, and my legs in these Mugsy
what
jeans.
What are you wearing? Those pants. You look so good in those pants.
I'm wearing Mugsy jeans, Robert.
Wow.
Nope.
They make your ass look good.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I don't know what it is about these jeans, but my ass looks fuckable.
Okay, is this a live read?
Yes. And who do you think it's for? Ralphie? Maybe?
It has to be. Mugsy jeans? What the fuck is that? Is that some kind of... Is that like some Jim Henson creation?
It's it's some kind of jeans. I don't know. I don't buy them, but I guess Bowie gets them for free, and I guess
my Lord.
They have elastic in them, so all the
did they lose
like
their
Hein and Benji and Bowie can all fit into them, and Jason.
Did Untuckit bail on them along with Gardine?
Haven't heard Gardine in a while.
Yeah, it
no
must be,
slop commercials.
Well, okay, well, fair enough. And if you've ever wanted to fuck a swizzle stick, I guess Stern could be considered fuckable. Number 3A, distinguished, exactly, distinguished gentleman.
And he is now a distinguished gentleman, by the way. He refused for the first time to record his song.
At this point in his life, he's decided he's going to be distinguished.
Nice.
By the way, George.
Good on you, George. Good on you, George. Fuck you. Fuck them. Like he'd been no offense, no, pardon the expression, bending over backwards for them, and doing pretty much being a pretty good sport. But him putting his foot down, I bet you $10 that was Brad saying, no, you're not going to be their gay monkey anymore. So get in. They don't even pay you probably as much as they used to. So fuck it. Why give them that extra bit?
George is trying to do all kinds of serious stuff on his Twitter, on his Instagram, with politics and Asian American things, Japanese American things, sorry.
Yeah, specifically, yeah.
So being the butt of jokes, gay jokes specifically, on the Howard Stern show doesn't suit him anymore.
No.
And he's like 80 years old.
Yeah.
So, George is 84, Brad is 67.
Yep.
So I think Brad had the common sense to be like, George, you can't do this stuff anymore.
Right.
You can't sing songs for them. you've got to learn to be distinguished. But you know what? Wilding does a Takei impression that does everything they wish George would say, but he says it for them.
Well, the
so
other
George
thing
is stuck. He's one of those indentured servants.
Well, he's first of all, I think he may be part of the Buchwald organization. In fact, I'm almost certain of it because he would get a lot of voice work, and that was originally what Buchwald was. It was strictly radio guys who had him as an agent, and then the agency just expanded to include so-called actors like Robin Givens, aka beard proteges. But in terms of this, is like he survived the George. Did you ever force someone? He survived Me Too, George Takei, because I don't know how because he's old and gay and Asian. Like he ticked a lot of boxes, or like who cared? No one was coming forward.
Well, other stuff came up in the news, so there was other Me Too people to point the finger at, and he just wasn't relevant enough. It came up, it got outed, but no one cared because it's George.
The one that fucking blew me away, it wasn't so-called Me Too. It was a guy outing himself as a fucking not pedophile, hebephile, I guess, because he was after a young teen. And had relations or exposed himself. Do you remember? God, I forget his name exactly, but he played in. He played a pastor, and it'll come back to me. Hold on. He was in the series Chiefs. He was Decker in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I forget his name, but he was disgraced. Basically, his wife filmed him. He recorded him in a psychiatry session of him admitting he might have done something inappropriate. Then he lost his TV gig. It'll come back to me. Legendary character actor, but he just literally lost his TV gig of 7 years. And anyway, it's just extraordinary. But George outed himself. No one came forward and said George did this. He did it on the Stern Show, and it got a bit of traction. But I think you're right. He was covered by so many bigger, fucking, monsters that it was like, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just no one cares about George.
I went there for some reason. 1 sec. I may have been. I'm going to edit that stuff out that I can't recall. By the way, I forget the guy's name, but it was Seventh Heaven. Maybe that might have been the show.
I didn't watch Seventh Heaven, and I didn't watch any Star Trek, so I can't help you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I forget the guy's name, but he was totally disgraced and completely out of the business because he admitted trying to screw or fucking a 13-year-old or something, like in psychiatry. I can't even believe why you'd say that, but yeah. Okay, let's go back into this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3B is called Bill Bad and George Good, and I'm sure this means Shatner.
Yes.
Compliment now. I believe that you are more visible and more famous now than maybe even William Shatner, who, of course, was the guy who, you've been at war with for a while. When I say at war, I mean, I say it jokingly, but, he wasn't kind to you.
Yes. No, he's Bill Shatner, and you have to accept him for that. But, he is a difficult person to work with.
Oh, for fuck's sake. We've heard this a million times. Go ahead.
Okay. They're both MPD, and the only one keeping this war alive is Wiggy. Those two have had nothing to do with each other. It's all Wiggy. So, fuck you, Double Bird, Wiggy.
It's funny because I was a Star Trek nut, like the Next Generation and the original series. And what I realized, I understood what George was upset with, that during one scene in the second motion picture, like The Wrath of Khan, there was a scene where he was going to get his own captaincy. And then it got scuttled because Shatner underacted or something, and they cut it from the film. The reason why he would get pissed off at that is because the minute you put it, you make it canon in the Star Trek universe, then he would have been able to parlay that into books, into different kind of venues where he could be making money, alternate streams of revenue as Captain Sulu all of a sudden. Right. So and he probably had stuff lined up for that. But and in those days, Star Trek books sold like hotcakes in the the days when people still read pieces of paper, and so I understand him getting pissed off about that. But William Shatner was the fucking star of the show back in the day.
Right.
I don't understand why you thought you deserved more time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And you've already heard it from fucking Wiggy and from George's own mouth in this fucking show. Does it sound like his voice is going, by the way, Takei?
Yeah, a little bit. It's
age.
It's he's 84, so it's that, and he's just been talking about himself for so long. It's so goddamn boring.
It is. When we're waiting for that Greco-Roman conversation again.
Brad and I were talking this morning. We have been together longer than the sum of all 5 of Bill's marriages. We've been together for 36 years. Steady, constant, and firm.
Did you really have that?
No, Jesus Christ, I just cringed a little when I heard him say that. Firm.
Oh, just blast through these clips, please, because
Okay.
it's a 2-minute one.
Yeah.
Conversation this morning, because to me it amazed.
That's a whole different thing. Living with him, we just checked into work, and that was it. At the end of the day, he was gone. But can you imagine? I mean, he's a person who loves to impose himself. And can you imagine that imposition 24 hours?
Oh, fuck. Okay,
Blah,
guys.
blah,
Yeah, we'll slug.
blah.
We'll slug through.
Sorry,
and
guys.
You're
I should have
gonna-
probably deleted this clip. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, it's all right. This is Imagine, and this went how long do you figure? I mean, you clipped it 2 minutes, but
The George Takei bit, it was over an hour. About an hour 15.
So repeat this one for 60 minutes until you get there.
In bed and waking up. I mean, I can't imagine that.
George, I'm not a psychiatrist. You're not a psychiatrist. But when you look at that type of personality, I don't know what the definition would be. Would it be extreme narcissism? In other words,
Bingo.
The ability to look at you as a person. Is that an accurate description of the?
That's projection. That's 100% projection.
I knew there was a reason I clipped this. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that was all leading up to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, Jesus. God.
Hey, Bob D, what's up?
What's that line in the Pink Floyd album? Like, if you don't eat your thing, you can't get your pudding. If you don't listen to this
have
clip.
to eat your meat to
That's
get
right.
your pudding.
That's right. Exactly.
Of Bill Shatner?
I think his self-possession is overwhelming. So that
blah 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 blah. Are we playing?
The most important person is him. It's not the writers because he rewrites and changes. It's not the director because he takes over the directing. It's not even.
It's interminable bullshit. I don't even like. I had no problem with him when he first started with Sirius. I actually enjoyed when he would come in every now and then because of the rapport he had with Artie, and they would fuck on each other a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, but since after that, there was no point to have him in. There really wasn't. 3C, Elitist Bell. This should be interesting. It's only a minute.
Because you're becoming so important to the gay community and so important to the Asian community, especially the way you speak out, you have the platform, you have the voice, maybe lose the bell when you ring for bread because you might seem like, do you still have the bell? Let me see it, please.
Looks like it's grown to me.
There he is.
There he is. Brett.
Is that my cue?
I said.
Okay, that might be just about the most annoying fucking asshole move. That's a Liberace, Scott Thorson type thing. Can anybody justify this?
It is the most demeaning thing to ring a bell and expect somebody to come running to serve your every fucking need.
Right.
What the fuck? George, fuck you, George. I used to like you when you first started and you had some stories you'd be willing to give. But anymore, you're just an elitist fucking asshole. And that's the clip they use this week with fake George, calling him that and calling him boring and calling him all these other things. Because that's what he is now. He's irrelevant. Nobody wants him. Nobody's asking for him.
No.
I just want him to go fucking away. Give me a break.
Yeah, there's no, you don't gain anything from having him on anymore. You just don't. And if you want to get, as you said, get Wilding to do his shitty impression of George Takei, if you're that desperate for it, he'll say what you like, how you like, sing what you like, and, it'll still be just as unfunny as if George was there, so what's the fucking difference? And you don't have to pay Wilding anymore. You're already paying him the poverty level to do this stupid, unfunny shit. So it's disgusting. I hadn't heard George on the show in quite a while, and now this is really, really fucking brutal.
Brad.
I don't even... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, please. Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know how much more I can take of George myself, and I clipped this shit. And I did. But I think we have 30 seconds or 28 seconds left on this.
Right.
Tell you, I think George should lose the bell because it might make him look like an elitist. Ringing a bell for
No, it's practical.
Yes, I know. Given. Yeah, but by the way, have you ever clocked how quick does it take Brad to get in the room when you ring the bell? Because
sometimes forever and a day. I have to actually get up and leave this room and go to the other end of the house.
Greg, I imagine Brad's going to be the guy taking him on a wheelchair up on the mountain and say, look how high the fucking hills are. Oh, the brakes are off. And oops. The reading of the will, he'll have a fucking Hawaiian shirt at the reading of the will, and he'll just say, bring it on. So there's a few more here. Fun block by Brad. Servant brings coffee. George has his own Rochester, which is a great title. But I don't. Do you want to play at least one of those? Just choose one.
What do I call? Let's see. It's 3G.
Okay,
George can't text.
Okay, no text.
George, why are you not texting? You're such a man of science and you're a forward thinker. Why are you not learning how to text?
Because I have him. He's very accommodating. All I have to do is the simple thing of ringing a bell.
You could talk to Siri. You could talk to... There's so many ways you could do this.
Yes, you are. You're correct.
Hey, Google. Hey, Google.
There's no difference between Brad and Beth except she's a beard and he's, Takei's woman. But that they both are dependent on the breadwinner, so they got to take that shit.
It's not hard to text. My 82-year-old mother can text, okay? Mm-hmm. She's the most computer illiterate. I don't want to come down too hard on her because she does emails. She does forward stuff and copy and paste a little bit. But my God, George, you're 84. If you haven't learned to text, it's the simplest thing. Get rid of the fucking bell. Just text Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break. I get so mad at these Hollywood types for how they're treated like little divas and princesses, and that's what George gets. And the other clips were how to summon your servants. Coffee is so hard to teach for a servant. It's basically Brad doing everything for George. Let's just skip the rest of these clips. I've had it with George. I don't even want to hear it, and I clip the shit. So let's just go to the next thing and do people a service.
Okay, and the service is, guys, you get to hear in advance. Number 3, I'm a woman.
Sitting there going, this is so bad, we should turn it off. This is so bad. And then about 25 minutes in, we're like, we like this.
Why don't you just admit, you two keep this
that I'm a woman
going, that you have some.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark Shabzovich, because that was one of your clips. She didn't even get to the fucking finish line. He just said, why don't you admit that I'm a woman? Yeah. But he's not he's not meaning it like he's got a fruity taste. He is abroad.
He was playing Justin Timberlake's Bring Sexy Back. And then he started mentioning Friends with Benefits, the movie he did.
Yeah.
With Mila Kunis. And how him and Beth loved that movie.
Okay.
So it was all about him being a woman, how he loves these movies because he can put himself in the place of that woman.
Yeah, because he wants dick.
That's just all I've got. You guys can fill in the blanks for the rest. Pretty easy.
Well, let's check it out. The next one is called Why It's Safe to Eat Ass. Lovely.
I have this ability where if I shoot the water in there, I can gather the water in there, much like a mouth, and then burp it out. And all excrement comes out. And I have this ability. And so I'm extra clean back there. There's never any remnants. So what I'm saying is, if you're using the Toto and you're getting clean back there, Brad, does that maybe make George's fantasy of you eating his ass come true? Can it possibly happen? He's very clean.
Okay, I just fucking threw up in my mouth a little bit here, and it isn't a gay or straight thing, guys, because I never ate a woman's ass either. I'm not. I just call me insane. Call me.
Oh, you silly! You're missing out.
Yeah, like a salad.
Not.
The problem was the laughing my wife did. Now she cannot. Whenever she hears the expression salad toss or salad toss the salad, unfortunately, her virgin ears have been so corrupted. When I explained to her what that meant, she was just disgusted now every time she sees it on a cooking show. She can't get it out of her mind.
Your poor wife. God bless her.
Exactly. So number 5, how to screw Beth in death. It's a short one.
Is that addressing?
That's a question to you. You're okay with that? I don't want Beth being happy after I'm gone. For God's sake.
Oh, I'm.
He doesn't want her happy, alive, dead, anything.
None of the above.
Exactly.
None of the above.
As if on cue. Number 6, salad tossing with Wiggy.
Full point. I don't care about what Brad is into. It would be an honor if I could eat your ass. I really I deserve an ass eating.
He says that so flippantly and so easily. It makes it sound like he's literally gone to fucking outhouses up and down the New York State, up and down the turnpike, and eaten more ass than the fucking creature in Tremors. Yeah.
Isn't it funny? There's no pauses in his thoughts.
Nope.
There's no stuttering. It's all very clear and to the point.
And it's nothing he read. It's not like he had it in a script. That just came right out.
He's not having trouble finding notes for this interview. None at all.
Exactly. And number 7, eat ass like a motherfucker.
And that is Brad, what a man he is. I could see. Yeah. Are you going to put your tongue up his ass? You really, really should. I mean, what an amazing icon this man is. Are you really thinking your position?
He's got to contend with that bell, Howard.
And the last clip, guys, believe it or not, Bearding 101.
But
did George ever say to you, listen, I'm bringing a woman with me, but you'll stand near us and you'll be
there, but
you'll be my publicist or something. Yeah. Did he ever, George, did you ever have to put Brad through that?
No, I didn't. But I did have beards, as we called them, women friends for public appearances. And
how would that work, George?
Why do we need to fucking know? Why do we need to ask him? We've heard the stories before. We know that guys of his generation, if they were in the business, had beards. The studios used to set them up with them. It was pretty common practice.
Well, he's always looking for tips on how to, keep his lifestyle going.
He needs to up his beard game.
Yeah.
Well, Howard, it helps it helps by not going to the fucking Preakness to look for a beard. First of all, you may want to actually consult like the elite agency or Ford models and stuff. You don't get this fucking broken down nag from the glue factory to act as your goddamn beard. So guys, without further ado, let's finish the rest of this.
How did that work? In other words,
Brad, you go home.
Yeah, but would you say to a woman, listen, I just want you to know, on the QT, I'm gay, but would you do me the favor of accompanying me to an event and act like my girlfriend? Or would you just ask a girl out? Or would your agent or somebody in your organization arrange it? How did it work?
I have.
He is, and like this, you're right. That clip is genius because it really just sounds like the same way he asked Siobhan, how does it feel to have a fake pussy? Can you get arousal? All this, like, this critical stuff that was critical to him, but every other fucking red-blooded guy out there is going, what the fuck am I listening to?
It's Beardology 101, like I
guess so.
originally called it. It's him trying to be relatable and like kind of opening the door for other guys out there in Hollywood, Bradley Cooper, to come forward, Tom Cruise, guys who have been through
Chris
this.
Pine, lots of guys out there.
Oh my God, the list is endless.
Oh yeah,
it's
especially
ridiculous. But
if you go through the blinds, yeah.
Hollywood won't let these major actors come through as bisexual or homosexual because they think it's going to take away from their movie takes, what income they're going to get from them. So yeah, I get it, but wow, how telling. It's just what we've said all along.
Okay, well, what about, let's say, Neil Patrick Harris, who played, this philandering, straight, raging heterosexual. After he came out on How I Met Your Mother, I never looked at it and went, okay, well, he's gay. I don't buy it. Whatever. He's playing a part. Did it affect your viewing ability?
He is one of my favorites. I love the Harold and Kumar movies, and even in those, he comes across as kind of like ambiguous, ambiguously gay duo.
Yeah.
Is a great Saturday Night Live clip reference.
Love that one.
Even Doogie Howser could win me over by being gay, having a husband, having kids, and trying to do it right, and still taking on serious movie roles, dramatic roles.
If you got the chops,
I found him believable in, and that's a sign of a good actor.
Yes.
They can win you over, even if you know they're really gay, but they're playing a heterosexual. My God, that's, Oscar worthy. But it's in this day and age,
like it's
the population is split.
They're not willing to buy it 100% just yet.
Some people aren't ready to accept gay into their life. And
right.
That's kind of like the boomer generation. It's some of the Gen X. But I think after the boomers are gone and the Gen X start fading away, it'll be a whole different world. And they're already putting it out there with like pronouns and gender fluency, so many things. And, that's always been Howard's agenda.
Yeah.
Is to bring gay into the world as a huge thing. He mentioned it in the summit, and I've said this before. So I don't think it's going to stop or slow down. I think it's just going to get worse. Yeah. And unfortunately, here's a warning for those of you in about a month, when you get the newest updates, we have a double scat alert for Ass Napkin Ed and Wendy the Retard, or Slow Adult, as she was also called. So I will handle those. I took them off Sam's plate because she was not equipped to handle it. And when we get to him, we'll get to him. But guys, the show is just in a serious decline. And
no pun intended.
We've given you the best we could tonight with the crap that we're given. I tried to do my best. I shortcutted the George K stuff, so you're welcome. But thanks. I hope you enjoyed it.
We took a detour on the Brown Road. I will say this last clip comes from May 10th, and it's the only clip for the day, and it's Maldives. Is another one for our 79 episode, maybe?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, it's a short clip.
Crashed into the Indian Ocean. Thank you. Bulk of the rocket was destroyed as it re-entered the atmosphere, but state media reported that debris landed just west of the Maldives, wherever that is.
The Maldives. The Maldives.
Maldives.
Wrong.
All right, guys. I believe we're caught up as far as we're going to make it for this particular episode. Not sure when it's going to end, but we hope you get something out of it. Any thank yous you want to send anywhere, and do you want to promo anything that is going to be upcoming, let's say, even by the time this thing is released?
Well, thanks as always to my morning crew. You guys know who you are. You're always there when I need you, and I just appreciate that. And those that are, doing God's work with me, you get my messages, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And this summer, guys, you're going to see us take apart the Colford book, and we're going to be doing more roundtables as soon as we get things underway. June's a tough month. It always has been for me. June and December are really, really fucking busy with grading and whatnot. But we know you're going to appreciate the Colford breakdown. It's going to be longer. We're not sure exactly how we're going to approach it. It may very well be 1 hour episodes, just kind of broken up piecemeal, and then released in a staggered way. So it may not be, let's say, for example, a Sunday live chat on YouTube type thing. It may be just episodic, the way you would, binge a series. And what we're going to probably do is record a bunch, have a bunch ready before we release it, and not go record, release. It'll just actually be staggered. So either way, we know you're going to appreciate that one. And trust us when we say it helps to do the homework with that one. So if you want to get a book to read along, please do. The Colford book is way better than the reviews suggest. And if you don't want to buy it, you can go on the archive and you can get an account and take a look at the online digital copy that they have there. Yep.
Oh, I just want to let people know there's a lot of used book websites out there. Thrift Books is one.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the books for like $2 with shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So just a heads up if you're interested.
Mm-hmm. So
but
thank you guys.
It's well worth reading.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us through thick and thin. We hope you're all doing well and turning the corner on a lot of bad, awful memories the last little while. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Scott Weill and the Stone Temple Pilots. There's a band that, God, I just could give a rat's ass about.
Fuck. I mean, what is that? What are you learning from?
Why use it?
This is no wonder people like this special. It's the anti-special. There's nothing special about these guys.
I really, they're one of those bands I never got.